Welcome to the Bountiful Yogi, a space where soul meets practice and where we explore what it really means to live in alignment, even when the world feels loud, fast, and upside down. I'm Heather Rogers, and I created this podcast as part of See Life as a Muse, a sanctuary for deep feelers, overgivers, and sensitive souls who are learning to live with more presence, more softness, and more truth. Whether you're walking, working, lying on the floor, or hiding in your car just to get a moment of peace, I'm so glad you're here. I want to start this episode by saying something you might need to hear. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you're likely soul tired, and you're not alone. Let's just breathe into that. This episode is called From Hustle to Holistic, the Kind of Tired Sleep Can't Fix. And while there's a blog by the same name, today I want to take you a little deeper into the story behind the words. Not a list of tips or tools, but a real, raw conversation about the kind of fatigue that rest alone doesn't solve. Let me take you back. I had just walked away from a job I held for over 20 years, on call 24/7, 7 days a week. And I thought, finally, this is when I get to rest. This is when I come back to myself. But instead of relief, I felt off. I couldn't explain it. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was teaching, resting, gardening, practicing yoga, breath work, all of it. And yet something was missing. There was a moment sitting on my yoga mat after class when this thought dropped in. I'm doing everything right. So why do I feel like I'm disappearing? It wasn't physical exhaustion. It was disconnection from rhythm, from purpose, from myself. What I realized slowly, painfully, was that I wasn't just burned out. I was grieving, but not the loud, obvious kind of grief. This was the kind that hides beneath strength, the kind that sneaks in while you're busy holding space for everyone else. You might be asking yourself, grieving, the version of me who always said yes, the illusion that love and effort could fix everything, the time I lost to survival mode, the belief that being of service would fill the void I hadn't acknowledged. And maybe most of all, I was grieving the fact that I had built my identity around being dependable for everyone else but myself. I hadn't actually practiced being with myself. There's a line from the blog that still rings true. We're not just burned out, we're soul weary, overstimulated but undernourished, surrounded by noise but starving for meaning. One thing I've come to understand, there's a difference between doing too much and feeling too much. When I've done too much, run errands, taught classes, had too many back-to-back conversations, my body gets tired. But with rest, I slowly come back. But when I've felt too much, when I've held space for someone else's pain, watched too much injustice, silenced my own emotions to be strong, that kind of tired lives deeper. That's not a to-do list issue. That's emotional and energetic overload. And you can't sleep that kind of tired away. What I needed wasn't more stillness, and it was space to feel, to grieve, to come home to myself in a way I hadn't before. So let's sit with this together. How do we shift grief? Not run from it, but actually move with it. Here's what that looks like in my own healing. First, we name it. I had to stop pretending I was just worn out. I had to call it what it was, grief. Sometimes I'd speak it out loud like a quiet prayer. I'm grieving the part of me that believed being strong meant being silent. I'm grieving how long I carried everything for everyone else. Naming it doesn't fix it, but it gives it shape. And once it has a shape, it can start to move. We let it move. Grief doesn't stay in your thoughts, it sinks into your body. I've cried mid-movement, shaken during breath work, stomped barefoot in the grass just to feel something real. Sometimes I just sit in silence, one hand on my chest, one on my belly, breathing through the ache. Ask yourself, where is this grief living in me right now? What would it feel like to let it move? It doesn't need to be dramatic, just honest. When it finally moves, we let it become something new. Grief is a strange teacher, but when we give it attention, it transforms. It's helped me say no more clearly. It helped me love with better boundaries. helped me slow down, not because I have to, but because I want to. Grief, when tended to, becomes wisdom. Now, when I feel that familiar ache rise up, I ask it, "What are you trying to show me today?" If possible, we don't do it alone. This part matters. Grief is heavy, and yes, you are strong, but you are not meant to carry it alone. That's why I built this podcast. That's why we have a space on Discord. Because your feelings matter, your grief matters, your healing deserves witnesses. Let's transition to practice. Before we close, I want to shift the energy for a moment. You might notice my voice changes now, gets softer, slower, more spacious. That's intentional. This next part isn't about listening, it's about returning to yourself. So if you're in a place where you can pause, do. If not, let this wash over you and come back to it later. Let's begin. Find a comfortable seat. Rub the palms of your hands together gently until they feel warm. Now place them over your heart. Let your eyes soften or close. Drop your shoulder blades down your back. Relax your jaw. Take a deep inhale through the nose and open mouth exhale. Soften the space behind your eyes. Take a slow breath in through the nose and a longer breath out through the nose. And now, repeat after me with intention. I am here. I am safe. I am allowed to rest. Again, I am here. I am safe. I am allowed to rest. Let those words sink in. Let your body believe them. Let this moment be enough. Pause this if you need to enjoy the moment. If you're feeling soul tired, you're not doing it wrong. You're not weak for needing rest. You're not broken because you feel deeply. You are a deeply feeling, deeply giving human. And you are allowed to grieve, to rest, to rebuild, to bloom. You are not behind. You are not alone. You are blooming in the right direction. Thank you for listening to the Bountiful Yogi podcast, an extension of See Life as a Muse. If this episode met you where you are, I'd love it if you'd share it with someone else who might need it. And if you want to stay connected, come join our free See Life as a Muse Discord. Follow me on Substack and Blue Sky for weekly reflections, or sign up for the newsletter at www.seelifeasamuse.com. Until next time, stay bountiful and always see life as a muse.